God. Ask Scott.
Scott, I have a two-part question based on product selection. It is the most important part of the process and my biggest obstacle. I have followed your product selection techniques and have started monitoring product metrics in a spreadsheet, including BSR, price, number of reviews, listing quality, and ASIN number. The first part is a question about product selection based on bestseller rankings. Is it true to say that you are looking for the first product listed to have a BSR of 500 or less, and the next few products listed to have BSRs of over 1,000? Does this indicate a competitive gap in the market? And do these BSR rankings need to hold true for the 7-day monitoring period? The second part is, during my tracking period, the top 5 products change almost daily with the same keyword search. When the top 5 products results change day to day, do you continue to monitor the previous products, the new top products, or both? And if these top products are changing daily, would you consider the market to be too competitive? Thanks again for all your hard work in these informative podcasts. This information has been very, very helpful and extremely informative. So I wanted to say thank you and continue keeping up all the hard work.
Hey, John, thanks so much for the question. And yes, you did not say your first name, but I knew it because it was in the email that was attached with the audio file. So guys, remember, say your first name for me so that way there I can call you out. In this case, I was able to. So John, thank you for the question, and I'm going to answer it the best that I can for you. Now, it sounds like you're tracking, just like I've told in my workshops or that I've said that I did in the very beginning, you're tracking with a spreadsheet, which I think is great, okay? To understand how to do that, it really does give you a full visual of what's happening, and then you have to go back, though, and update that daily, right? Or you have to use camel.com, which is another great site, free site, by the way, that you can take an ASIN and put in there, and then you can see historical data, pricing, BSR, and all that stuff. First off, let's just talk a little bit about BSR. Your bestseller rank, that's what that is, guys, if you're brand new and you don't know what that is, your bestseller rank is a number that Amazon gives the listing, okay? And it basically, in every category, it is different. Okay. And I can't stress this enough. So if you're in the beauty space, let's say the beauty category, okay, and you're looking at BSRs in there, you may see a BSR of 5,000, and that 5,000 BSR, because I know that has a lot of traffic running through it, a 5,000 BSR could be 20 to 25 a day selling. It could be 15 depending on the time of year, but let's just say it's 20 per day. Now, you could take that same 5,000 BSR into home improvement, let's say, okay, and that one there at 5,000 might only be 5 a day, okay, because in that category, there's not as much sales volume. Okay, so you do need to understand that. Now, you can kind of get an idea if you did the 999 trick. And I've said this before, but I'll just repeat it really quickly. I'll kind of walk you through it. And that again, though, guys, this is really manually intensive stuff here, right? That we're doing. We're having to go in, track it, put it in a spreadsheet. And I'll tell you the new improved way of doing this stuff. But I do think that you should understand how this all works. But the 999 trick is really when you take your one competitor, and then you go ahead and you track them for 24 hours. You act as though you're going to buy the product. So you go in, you add the product to your cart, and then you say that you want to order 999, okay? And then what's going to happen is it's going to come back and say, yes, we can fulfill this order. Yes, your total price is going to be $20,000. Or it's going to say, sorry, we only have 350 of these left in stock. Okay, so it's telling you that they have 350 in stock. Now, you would make a note of that. You would say, okay, I did that at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay, so 12 o'clock. The next day, you'd go back at 12 o'clock again at the very same time of day, that only 24 hours apart, and then you would do the same exact thing. You would go in, act as though you were going to buy 999 units, and then from there, you'd see that it had 325 left. So you know now that they sold 25 units in a 24-hour period. So then you can say, what was their BSR the day before? It was 1,500, or it was 5,000. If it was 5,000, then approximately the BSR in that category for selling 25 is 5,000. or 1,500 or whatever it is. So that's how you can get a gauge by just using one listing, okay, in that category. So this way here, when you're looking at all the other BSRs, you don't have to do the 999 trick. You can just kind of get an idea of BSR. So just a quick little hack there for you. Now, the new improved way to do this is using a tool like Jungle Scout. To me, I'm not really sure why anyone going into this business wouldn't invest in a tool for $100 or less that's going to make the process this much faster. Now, for those of you that don't know about Jungle Scout, when it first came out, it did an okay job. It's gotten so much better as Greg Mercer, who I've had on the show, by the way, episode 56, where he's really just taken this thing to the next level. And his sales estimates are like really, really accurate. There's been other copycat softwares out there that to me have not done as good a job with that. He's got some proprietary type of algorithm that tracks how many products are selling per day by looking at the BSR numbers and all of that stuff. But I just know that his is very, very accurate because I compare it to my own numbers and other people that I know personally are selling and their numbers. So if you're serious about this business, my first thing would be to go and number one, understand how the process works. So doing the spreadsheet and everything I think is great up front, but then I think to then speed up the process, especially if you're doing product 2, 3, or 4, or 5, start using a tool, because the tool is going to speed up the time that you have to do that. And then you can go in every day and just check that same search. So for example, if you're going to use a tool like Jungle Scout, you're going to say, let's say that you're looking at garlic presses, stainless steel garlic presses. You're going to type in stainless steel garlic presses in Google Chrome. It's a Google Chrome extension. Talking so fast, my lips are getting twisted, right? So you can take garlic press or stainless steel garlic press, enter it into Google Chrome, into a search box inside of Amazon. So if you're in Amazon.com, you're going to go to the search field, type in stainless steel garlic press, and then you're going to hit, enter like you normally would. It's going to bring up the first page, usually 16 listings on that page. And then you're going to click the little icon. It's a little extension inside of that browser. And that extension is then going to pull back all of the data that you would normally have to go and look at individually and then track in that spreadsheet. And it's going to give it to you. And you can export that if you want to. You can just look at the numbers for that day. And then it'll give you the estimated sales for the month, estimated units sold for the month. It'll give you the reviews. It'll give you all kinds of data. Okay. It'll give you the selling price. It'll give you the average. It'll even give you the averages of all that stuff. So, I don't want this to sound like it's a pitch for Jungle Scout, but it kind of is in the sense that I think that you should be using it if you're not already, at least the basic version. If you guys are not familiar with Jungle Scout, definitely check out the episode I did with Greg Mercer, episode 56. That is theamazingseller.com/56. We go through exactly how to pick a product. Even if you are not using a software, it tells you exactly what I've taught in the past, is really how to discover it and how to look at the numbers, how to look at the BSRs, all of that stuff. All right. But it's a really rock solid interview that I did with Greg Mercer. Also, we share a video that Greg put together showing how to do what we talked about on the podcast. The other thing is, if you wanted to grab your copy of Jungle Scout and get a discount, you can head over to the resource page, and you can head over to theamazingseller.com/resources. And I believe there's a $10 discount on the basic version, or even the pro version for that matter. So you definitely want to check that out. Just a little small disclaimer: if you do go through my link, I would earn a small affiliate commission, which would buy me a nice cup of coffee, which you guys know that I love my coffee. All right. So definitely check out Jungle Scout if you have not done so already. Huge time saver. I don't know how I would do it now moving forward if I didn't have that tool. I mean, I would do it, but it's so much more work. But I do believe that you should understand how to do it. Before we move on though, let me just also bring up that you mentioned the 500 BSR thing. You're like, if the first, product is a BSR of 500, or let's say that the first one has a BSR of 3,000, is it still worth looking at? It is if the sales are there, right? If you're in, let's just say, the beauty space, and we know that a BSR of 5,000 is getting 15 sales a day or 20 sales a day. And then you're like, well, wait a minute, why would I have to go to the top 500? The top 500 means that it's going to be more competitive. So you really just need to understand the BSR. What is the BSR that is going to get you the number of sales that you need to make this worthwhile? I teach the 10 by 10 by 1, which is 10 units a day sold at $10 profit, one product sold, or one product. Okay, so you have one product in the Amazon catalog, 10 sales a day, $10 profit. That equals $100 a day. I think that's a good spot to start at. And that's what I always refer to in my workshops and anything that I mention about starting from scratch. Definitely want to look into that. Also, even any future products, because let's face it, if you get 5 products that are doing 10 units a day, that's 50 units a day, right? That's $500 a day profit if you do the 10 by 10 by 1. All right, so getting off on a little bit of a tangent here, but I just want to say understanding the BSR is key, because then that's going to allow you to understand how many sales are being generated. But if you use a tool like Jungle Scout, it'll do it for you. All right. So that is my recommendation there. It sounds like you're doing everything properly. It sounds like you understand it, except for that little bit of a hiccup there as far as like, should you continue to go if you see that there's new people coming in the mix? I guess I should touch on that too. Sorry guys, but I have to. If you're seeing that you pull up the results on day 1, let's say, and you pull up the results and you get 16 results, and then you say that you come back in 2 days and you see that there's someone new in there, my first thing would be, is that person running a promotion? Are they running a heavy promotion of giving away 150 units and they're going to push themselves into first page temporarily to hope, to stick? Is that what's happening there? Because that's very, very possible. Now, a way that I would be able to know that for sure is number one, I would look at the reviews. I'd say, oh, wow, they only have 50 reviews and they just started getting reviews like 3 weeks ago. Okay, red flag. That's what's happening there. So that's kind of good for you. That means that you can potentially get there yourself just by running a promotion or a blast, but you got to have a good product. Okay, so that's the first thing. The other thing I would do is I'd go over to camel.com. Okay, and I would use that tool to allow me to see the history. Okay, I'd be able to see the price that they started at. I'd see the historical price over the however long they've been selling, 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years, whatever it is. And I'd be able to see the BSR history over time. I'd be able to see if they started at a 10,000 BSR and then all of a sudden they've spiked it to where they're 200 and then they dropped because they ran out of inventory maybe, and then they spiked it back up to where they're in the top 200 again. So they're running a promotion and then they stuck there. So then I'm going to be able to see all that stuff, and that's going to help me decide on that product. If you guys want to submit a question, head over to theamazingseller.com/ask, and you can do that. I want to also, again, remind you guys, if you're brand new and this is your first time to the show, I want to welcome you. I love hanging out with you guys. This is just awesome to be able to virtually connect like this, and that's why I love the Ask Scott sessions. But if you are brand new and you're just getting your feet wet and you don't understand the entire process, the entire business model, I would recommend attending one of my live free workshops. This is where I break it down for you in 5 phases: how to pick a market and a product, how to source it, how to do a pre-launch, how to do a launch, how to promote the product, and everything in between. We go over that on a workshop, and we go through every single thing. We also do live Q&A. So if you want to attend one of them, I would love to invite you to the next one, and you can register for the next one by heading over to theamazingseller.com/workshop, and you can register there for an upcoming workshop. Well, hey there. Thank you so much for listening to that episode of Ask Scott. Now, that was just a highlight from one of our full episodes where I generally answer 3 to 4 questions on a podcast. If you want to go back and listen to all of the past archives of not just the Ask Scott session, but all of the full episodes where I do interviews with top Amazon sellers, people starting from scratch and building a business, if you want to listen to any of those episodes, head over to theamazingseller.com, and you can find all of that over there. You can also find details there on how you can ask your own question and get it aired on an upcoming Ask Scott session, and possibly see it here on YouTube or just on the podcast. All right, so definitely head over to theamazingseller.com. There's tons of resources over there for you to be able to build your e-commerce and Amazon business. So definitely go check that out. Now, I just wanted to remind you one thing before I let you go. There's a lot of information out there, and some of it is really, really good. But what I want you to remember is you have to not just consume the information, you have to actually apply that information. So take this information that you learned here today and apply it to your business. And this way here, you can get results. As my shirt says, I wear it almost daily. Take action. We'll see you guys.